Wednesday. An unusual day for us to do a podcast on, but we're here. It's the Five Side Podcast. I'm Fergus Smith, and I'm joined by Craig Gregor.
Hello.
I'm gonna have to say everyone's name like that now. I fucked up. Billy Kirkpatrick,
Good evening.
Ross Dewar,
Hello, all.
and Matthew Thompson.
Evening.
I was gonna call him Matt there, and then I remembered his full name. You know, standard. That's it. The football season's over. The cup's done. The football's all done. We'll move through slowly the events. League Two relegation. Well, it was relegation. Brecon. 2-1 down after the first leg, and they played the second leg and lost that one. 1-0, only 1-0, but they did lose. So Kelty Hearts find themselves into the league system, the pyramid. The game was with a bit of controversy right before half time. Well, not controversy, but naughtiness.
It's a weird one. Obviously, it's still alleged of whether he did say it or not. Nothing's been proven. The weird thing for me was the fact that the ref seemed to have not heard it and then went on the player's word to send them off. I don't know. That's what it seemed like in the highlights anyway.
Okay, I'll step in here and kind of clarify points. I think what's happened is the highlights are not the best. The highlights are they make it look worse than what it actually is. I think there's been a bit of an incident. It's then led to a bit of afters. And from what I'm led to believe, it was communicated. I think the assistant referees picked it up. It's been communicated through the earpiece, and that's how the subsequent red card has been issued. But given player reaction and kind of surrounding reaction, I would suggest that the alleged comments are likely to be true.
Like the player, he kind of realised, like when he was getting sent off, he didn't put too much of a fight up against it, so he must have done something.
You don't. If you genuinely haven't done something wrong, you protest your innocence. But given throughout the whole game, let's be honest, throughout the whole game, it was a very tetchy, scrappy, feisty at points. It was very, very challenging to control the game throughout. But from the highlights, in my opinion, I thought the referee was outstanding. And I know we've been on here for weeks and months, and maybe we haven't shone the light on the good things, but Sunday, based on the highlights and based on from people I've spoke to in the kind of wider picture, it was faultless.
Yeah, it did seem like the referee handled the game quite well for what was always going to be a very feisty game. Two teams fighting for a lot. And obviously, Kelty Hearts were the favourites going into it, but they probably didn't have the lead in the first leg that they did deserve, so they still had to fight for it in the second leg. So yeah.
I think we do also have to stress that if the alleged comments are true, they have no place in modern football, and I would suspect a subsequent lengthy ban will be
100%.
dished out accordingly.
Well, you never know, because going by other bans that have been handed out to other players over time, weird ones get handed out for actual crimes. Well, not crimes, but like actual bad offences, and then things that are lesser get huge fines and bans, etc.
Typically speaking, Bill, obviously you'll know the system probably better than we do. What type of ban would you suspect? 10 to 15 matches, or is it?
Not as much as that, I think. See, the only kind of anomaly or differential in this situation is that since the last time an incident like this has happened, the SFA have launched their new diversity and inclusion plan. So potentially what it might make me think there might be a harsher ban is to set an example. Obviously they brought in Marvin Bartley and various other people from across the spectrum of race relations and relations relating to protected characteristics. I would say if found guilty, you're looking at a minimum, a bare minimum of 6 games. A bare minimum. It could be 8, 10, 12, but I would say 6
would also be
would be your
surprised
minimum.
if found guilty that he probably, I don't know when his contract expires with Rangers, but I wouldn't imagine his contract would be renewed if found guilty.
I think off the top of my head, I believe it is next year expires.
I'm sure Rangers will hand out their own punishment as well if he is found guilty, whether that be a termination of contract maybe, or just a fine to him, etc.
I know they did. Obviously, they have tried to improve things with the everyone anyone like scheme, etc. So I wouldn't be surprised if his contract will get terminated or something along those lines.
It's a bad look of it, isn't it?
I think though, and to play devil's advocate here, I think the player, if found guilty, does deserve the opportunity to go on rehabilitation courses, and he's only 18, 19. I wouldn't want to see anyone's career cut for potentially one moment of badness, as it was. I think the player has the right to earn the chance to learn the lesson and come back as a more wide-minded individual, stronger person as a result of it.
The key thing with any situation like that is if the player can go away and sort, like, not sort himself out, but improve himself and understand what he did was wrong and put that out of his personality basically, and come back a better person, then he deserves a second chance.
So he's not cancelled.
No, he wouldn't be completely
cancelled. I'd say he's pretty cancelled at this point at the moment.
Can we uncancel him then if he goes on a rehab course for not hating gays?
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kelty Hearts decided to even it up with the red cards late on in the game, and then after that's when they decided to score their goal.
It was an absolute stinker of a challenge for I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. He just jumped in 2 feet off the ground. I'm thinking, you've got the man advantage.
The referee right in front of him as well. It was such an easy, he was so quick at getting the red card out because it was so easy for him to produce.
Would you not just take, if you're going to take one of the team, just trip him up and then pull him back, take the yellow card and move on.
I think the time of it happening probably was kind of benefited Kelty Hearts. It would kind of spurred Brechin on to maybe try and go up and win the game, get a couple goals, and
I mean, to be fair, judging by that, I mean they lacked any, even before the red card, they lacked any real quality.
Deserved loser, they died 100%.
Yep.
I would have said. I probably would have said over the tie they didn't deserve to lose the second leg. They didn't deserve to win it though.
The goal did come with a little bit of controversy with a Brechin player being down injured. Kelty, don't know whether they didn't notice it or whether they just decided to play on. Obviously, there's no rule that says you have to kick the ball out. It's just about a gentleman's agreement.
I don't think they didn't notice.
Yeah, it looked pretty noticeable on the pitch.
Yeah, I meant
it's noticeable
they didn't notice, until they were through.
I think it was noticed
before then, but
again, that's there's no disagreement from me. I think that's you play on if you've got a player down. That's unfortunate. That's, it wasn't a serious head knock. It was just a bit of cramp.
I mean, it's a shame for Brechin their tragic plummeting down the leagues, and now they're no longer in the leagues. They'll go into the
Highland League.
Yeah.
Highland League, unless they apply for a new SFA license, which could put them in the Lowland League.
Yeah,
it's very confusing.
The Highland League, Lowland League,
but as it stands, it's Highland League.
Highland League, Lowland
as
League
it stands right now, yes.
Confusing at this point because a team coming up from the Lowland League, but a new team going into the Highland League, it leaves unbalanced leagues at points. So there might be some balancing out need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Moving on. League One, Dumbarton lost their game to Edinburgh City. 1-0 to Edinburgh City at the end of the day, but Dumbarton had secured themselves after the first leg and will find themselves playing League One football again next season.
Comfortable enough in the first
Congrats.
leg, so they didn't have to try
Yeah.
too hard.
Ferg did say that tie was over. Ferg said that tie was over.
He did. He was adamant about it, and he
The
was
tie was
right.
over.
Well, evidently, Fair was right. The tie pretty much was over, as that result meant nothing.
Yeah, but congratulations.
I'm sure
And
Edinburgh
League
City
One.
will fight back stronger next season.
Roaring back.
Going back, yep. Yes. Morton in the Championship have secured themselves as well after a convincing 3-0 home win.
Never in doubt.
Was it the record that wouldn't happen to most of these twats?
Did I not predict Morton to win?
No, Matt.
No,
you
you
did
got
a
cancelled
draw.
to 0 points
To
this week,
each
Matt,
draw.
so you didn't.
Right? Is that my victory lap?
That was your bit to do it.
Yep.
Just rub it in.
Yeah, to be honest, I really didn't expect Morton to come out fighting so much because they've been dreadful all season. But
Well, those are all the players that you have signed.
we've got one in so far. Apparently, we're getting our two more. But yeah, it was comfortable in for them. Maybe having the fans in has spurred them on, being the team that we're higher up. Obviously, they did have the slight advantage going into the game.
I mean, we did see the atmosphere the ultras brought with them to the stadium, so that
I
was.
think Morton's kind of nah. I don't know. Like they were in that position, but I like they're better than League One quality. They just ended up being in that position come the end of the season.
They had moments throughout the season of like good quality. It's just they're just inconsistent, which is sort of their issue.
Yeah, it could have been terrible for them if they did get relegated because they are in money problems. I know that when Hopkins was there, he was supposedly paying some of the players out his own pocket. So they will still be struggling for money, but obviously staying in this league is going to help them out a wee bit.
That'll help them, and fans returning will certainly help as well because as we go further on, the higher percentage of fans that are allowed in to stadiums. Well, congratulations to them. Unfortunate for Airdrie that they kind of stumbled at the last hurdle, but
a step too far. I feel it was.
I think they did well to see off Cove Rangers the round before. That could have gone either way, that tie, but I think maybe they put quite a lot into that, and then Morton are probably just a level above them, and evidently so after a 3-0 convincing win, scoring early, scoring late. Just the way you win a game.
It was some goal to open the scoring. To be fair from Muirhead, probably Bill's goal of the week. I've not had one of them in a while.
No, it's not my goal of the week. I'll
get on to it.
He's got his goal of the week. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Morton will be fighting it out next season near the bottom of the Championship though, because the Championship's quite a strong league next season. It's looking like
not as a strong league. I'd say it's more of a league that you can't predict who's going to win that league.
Well, yeah,
it's going to be.
But it could be
it's
a
going
really
to be a league
strong
where I feel like anyone can beat anyone. From the teams that just get promoted to the teams that just get relegated, it's gonna be a very even league across the board.
You've got Partick coming in instead of Alloa. Partick, who I think are better than Alloa. I think that's safe to say.
Probably just now.
Hearts making way for
Hamilton,
and Dundee, they've gone up in place of Kelly, which is the next game we're going to talk about. So, 2-1 Dundee after the first leg. It's sort of I think they were unfortunate in the first leg. I thought they played quite nice football. Could have made it more. They had chances to make it more, and Kelly got back into it late on. It's kind of lucky. I'd say the way they got into it.
Yeah, I feel like the 2-1 scoreline kind of flattered Kelly a wee bit. It was more of a 3-4-0 scoreline.
Kind of.
If Dundee could actually finish the dinner,
Re-
could have had
Yeah,
the
they
game
had
put to bed
chances.
before the second leg. But they did make it never for themselves going into that second leg.
They scored so early on, but I kind of expected that to happen. I thought they'd come out the gates a bit too much for Kelly, but it did look at the start of the game. It looked like Kelly maybe had some fight in them, some sort of desire. They were pushing up the pitch and playing some okay football. But
Yeah, they looked all right. They looked as if they came to try and get something from the
And
game
then
for the first
seems like the
9
Dundee
minutes.
goal just kind of knocked it, their full stuffing out, and then
Mm.
the defence just decided not to be able to play football.
I mean, they've been doing
It's
that
not really,
all season, to
as
be
it's not
fair.
really decided. It's been most of the season they've not known to play football.
Yeah, the infamous Charlie Adam, he picked up a goal in the first
What
leg.
player? I've always rated him as everyone can.
Oh
Always
yes.
rated
Oh
him.
yeah.
I think he's one
I'm
of the
sure.
best players in Scottish football.
I'm sure our normal listeners would agree with you.
Normal listeners, if they're your pals, they're not very
Oh,
normal, are
that's a bit mean.
Well, at least I've got
Keep
them.
it mean.
Yeah, strong from
Dundee.
Thingy. That's not what Dundee. Yes, strong from Dundee in the first leg, and second leg, which was Monday night there. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Started much the same. Dundee flying out the gates. 7 minutes in, so 6 minutes in the first leg, 7 minutes in the second leg. And Kelly lay down and let them score a goal. It was nice of them.
It was nice of them.
Dreadful, absolutely dreadful defensively. I mean, it was like watching four statues trying to move around in mud. It was.
I'll have you know it was only 3 statues. The right back was nowhere to be seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the right back was
Well,
just not there. But these things happen. I was about to say that Mullen assisted himself, but that says Mick Mullen. So Mullen was assisted by Mick Mullen, and it's a nice wee finish.
It was.
Goalkeeper did his best to try and rush him, close him down, and make himself big, but composure from the striker to slide it under him, and that got them off to a flyer. And it was not much more than 5 minutes later, they made it 2-0.
Yep, my goal of the week.
The goal of the week.
It was by far the greatest comedic goal I have seen this season. Better than Dumbarton's own goal against Forfar, Forfar's own goal against Dumbarton, whichever way it was. This was funnier.
It was what I'd probably say catastrophic from the Kelly centre half and left back. I think it was.
I would say
decided to run into each other in
hilarious
the
is
box.
how I'd describe it.
I would concur. Yes, it was quite funny watching them fall over each other, then both appeal for fouls. At
The
the
thing
same
is, though,
time.
we all agreed it was a foul in real time.
Well, in real time, and that's why we are just watching the game and not.
Yeah, well, I think we
officiating it.
should be sometimes with the refs in this country. But yeah, agreed.
But yeah, then gave Dundee a free goal in the tie at that point, and it was pretty much dead.
That killed the tie. That killed the tie. It was pretty much tie over.
Dead and buried at that point. Yeah. Second half kind of started much the same for Dundee, and probably the same story as the first leg, where they had plenty of fucking chances and just could not finish their dinner.
Yeah, I think they kind of I'm guessing at the half time team talk, they were basically just told just more of the same. They're pish. I imagine that's all. That's I reckon that's all. More of the same. They're
That's
pish,
all I'd say.
and that's all. And the thing is, Dundee might be slightly concerned that they didn't score more goals across the the two games in the tie. But yeah,
They
they
did
done a
leave their
bit
best
more to do.
striker on the bench, to be fair, for both ties. But I still confused. I don't know where he's maybe picked up an injury.
Is he their best striker?
Yeah,
Is he their best striker?
Yeah, I would say
I think
so.
I think
Probably.
maybe going by things, he might have been carrying a slight knock.
Well,
or
he must have,
something.
because he didn't miss a game up until
Maybe
that game.
if I'm just going by their drunk videos from afterwards,
Well, when he's
you might
swinging
know
in the
that.
chandelier.
To be fair, that is what happens when you've got
there's
a
one
knock.
where he's singing a song about his arse or something. I don't know. I don't.
Was he?
Wasn't really.
Yeah, he was
Chandelier?
swinging in the chandelier. Did you not
What?
see that video?
That's what the rehab we gave Chris Julie in Dubai.
Oh no, he didn't. He didn't swing on the chandelier. He bent the chandelier and swung on it.
So he did swing.
Yes. Oh, move on. Um, Kelly must have paid the referee before to try and give them a chance in this game, because they got gifted a penalty. I think the referee had already decided what minute he was giving the penalty in. He just waited until the ball was close enough to the box, and he was like, "That, there you go, there's your penalty." Shambolic refereeing.
Well, I thought
I
it was a
thought it was
Stonewall
also a
penalty.
penalty as well.
He could have been killed.
He
could have been killed, but I
It
think it was
violent.
a penalty.
Joey didn't pick up on Billy's sarcasm there, because Billy had said in the night that it was not a penalty after seeing the replay.
We were.
No, I don't think it was.
To clarify, 4 of us were all watching it in the same establishment.
I was not there due to COVID.
At different tables due to the current coronavirus
Yes. It was different tables.
It just covers us on the legal basis.
Is that you dog translating?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that.
No, it's safe to say
No,
I don't think it was a penalty.
No.
But
I think he's already going down. He's already sliding down, and the goalkeeper tries his best to not.
But at the end of the day, it didn't really make a difference, did it?
It could have, and
could have, but it
didn't. Carroll after put it away. Yeah, great. Wow, he's not going to be playing Premiership football next season.
Well, he might be.
No.
Well, I mean, according to latest reports, Aberdeen are apparently interested in signing him.
He is one of the players that Kelly have offered a contract to, but I'll be very surprised if he signs that contract.
Obviously, after their game the other night, they only had, was it 3 players signed on for next season?
4 players.
Sorry.
And then they've handed contract to another few.
A lot of the young guys probably sign on.
What do you call him? That man.
Oh yeah, him.
His name has passed me. Another one that was on the loan air, and he had that much of an in his Cameron, and that's the one had that much of an impact that his name went past me. He has signed a new 2-year deal, and he knows where the back of net is in the Championship after having a decent spell with Alaba. So if Lafferty doesn't sign on, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him playing next season for them.
I know it was stated by the chairman of Kilmarnock that Tommy Wright will be receiving the same amount of money as he would have in the Prem. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do with said money.
It's a gamble. I mean, it is a gamble because if it goes disastrously wrong, they could be in serious financial difficulty.
I feel they need to understand that. Well,
it's a tough league.
My honest opinion for them, they shouldn't be trying to go out and buy loads of players. They should try and focus on their youth players, bring them through, because it would be a good experience for them, and they should be good enough to compete. Add in a couple of experienced heads in there.
I think for me, Kelly and Hamilton find themselves in very similar sort of situations going into the Championship next season, where genuinely I think both of them should be, if they recruit right and sort of build a decent squad, they both teams should be up there fighting for promotion, whether it be winning the league or through playoffs. I had a mind blank there, but yeah. But also, I think at the same time, I think for both teams it could end up quite the opposite, and they could both end up lower down the league, especially with some of the teams that are in that league.
Well, that's what I said.
Looking for at it
It's going to
for
be a
next
league
season.
where everyone can beat everyone pretty much. So,
and some of the championship teams that have been playing championship football for a few years, I mean, they can build on what they've done. There's not really a massive team in the league anymore.
I mean, teams like Inverness, etc., have put down good platforms. All they would need is a couple of extra signings to really challenge.
I mean, yeah, Dunfermline could give it a good go.
Yeah, I think
Ayr, if they build well in
depends what
the summer
Hopkin can
window,
do.
Could
Because he's got experience of coming out
they
of
could
this league
mount some form of
with
challenge.
Livy, to be fair. So,
yeah,
but
Kelly and Hamilton need to do the job right and
at
sort
the end of the
themselves
day,
out.
Kelly have only got themselves to blame. They sacked their manager when they were fifth in the league because their players couldn't handle the training.
Well, what was that? That was not that was the start of last season.
December last season they sacked their manager.
Yeah. So December 2019.
Yeah. There's a little bit of it downhill since then.
I think he had an okay start to the Alessio. He had an okay start at Kelly.
I mean,
Obviously
he lost to Connors P, but
not fantastic. But he just come in like you allow these things.
But he had
an okay start
league fifth in the league
wise.
by December. Not.
I think the biggest problem was bringing Alex Dyer in. Obviously, a good assistant coach, but he was shoehorned into that sort of manager role, and you could tell that a lot of these players who are still holding on to that one good season with Steve Clark, they never really pushed on from that at all.
That's the same as Kelly fans, though, because
they all just stagnated.
You say to them all, you say to the Kelly fans, you shouldn't have got rid of Alessio at the time that he did. And they go, but we shouldn't have lost Steve Clark. It's like Steve Clark was always going to leave when a decent job came up for him. I think make that claim is a bit, I don't know, it's backwards, because that happened. He left. You brought in a manager who was a bit more modern, his philosophies and his sort of coaching styles, and players didn't like it. They didn't like it was confusing for them, which I don't understand. I mean, just think a bit and actually adapt to things, and then because of that, they were sitting fifth in the league and he gets sacked. Shame for him.
I think it shows the ignorance and arrogance of particularly the players, particularly the players of Kilmarnock. Okay, it would be new for them compared to the way that Steve Clark had them playing, but they were playing, they're not great football. They were playing football that would have kept them safe from relegation. And, the whole revolution led by Kirk Broadfoot, that he wasn't going to play for them until he was out. I have no sympathy for them. I'm delighted. I will say this openly. I'm delighted they're relegated. They deserve to go down. 24 defeats. If you add in the 2 playoff games, 24 defeats in 40 games. That's almost as bad as Brecon.
It's not that bad.
I mean, they deserve to go down, and I don't think they will go up next year. I think they'll be rotting in the championship for the next decade.
There we go. You've heard it
first.
Yeah. Obviously, they got rid of a manager. I don't think Alex Dyer was the worst appointment for them. I think he was solid for them.
Yeah, he was. I mean,
I think he was shoehorned into that. I think he was shoehorned into.
He came out in record and said he didn't.
He did an okay job with them in that season, and then obviously this season they've had a monumental collapse. But if you look at the recruitment last summer, I mean, it's not the greatest, and their team is very old.
A very aging team,
yeah.
The recruitment was to be nice. The recruitment was shit.
Well, I was trying to be nice by not saying shit.
The recruitment was on a curve and a form.
To quote,
thanks,
Gattuso, with Steve Clark and Alessio, it was sometimes maybe good, and with the recruitment this summer, sometimes maybe shit. Yeah. And this was maybe shit. Yes.
Sometimes
they brought in Lafferty, which was their only upside to the.
That was. I think that was Tommy Wright. To be fair,
Tommy Wright.
Yeah, so that was the sometimes maybe good part.
Yep. Bye Kelly.
Goodbye indeed.
They're
But-
gone.
Billy, the question
And
is, are you still happy they got relegated after today's managerial announcement?
Um,
I'm
yes, yes, I
not.
am.
can we
I'm
get onto that after? Can we get onto that after before? We'll just predictions.
Well,
Due
Oh,
to
yeah.
the highest score
we have
of the
missed
game
out a
week.
game, one of the most
7.
important games of the week.
Nah,
The
nah,
cup final, maybe.
nah, nah,
They
nah,
get relegated.
nah. Craig, I don't want to talk about it because you're the only one that got the prediction right.
I mean, it was an
So we're
it
not
was
going to talk
an
about it.
And I'm
Well done to Johnstown, Johnston Saints for
Johnstown.
winning the cup against Edinburgh Greek.
manager
Well
of the
done.
year.
Yep. Jure did get himself 7 points. And that me and Craig tied on 6. Billy with 2, and Matt did his lap of honour in the final week with none. Well done, Matt.
So are we
Thank
just
you.
going to pass over the fact that
Um,
St Johnson did do a cup hangover?
No, I'm
Are we going to come back to that?
I'm taking my, Craig, I've started this because I've started this because I'm going to take my moment to say, fuck you, Craig, you finished bottom of the predictions.
Can we give a final run over of the total points?
Okay, Craig's rock bottom on 212. I'm not on the bottom with 213. Jura is quite a lot above that with 234. But he's getting minus 50. So
For what, cheek?
yeah, for cheek. Nah, for saying that Ross County were getting relegated when they didn't. They weren't even close. Billy with 235. So Matt 247, but he's also minus 50. So Jura will be going to the bottom. Matt will be going second bottom. And Billy is the champion. Well done, Bill.
Thank you. I don't know how the scoring system works, but thanks.
Well, they made silly predictions, so
They
they lose 50 points.
Oh well, there you go.
Maths, quick maths. Yes, we will move on to the most important game of the week. I don't know. I watched bits of it.
Pretty important.
I was in and out of watching it.
Yeah.
It was important. It was a very big game. Sorry, I'm not saying it wasn't an important game. But it's all been clouded over by the fact that Kelly are shit. So yes, it was the Scottish Cup final. And it was played between St Johnstone and Hibernian. A game that could have really gone either way. St Johnstone obviously have just come off the back of their COVID worries, really sort of struggling for finding players, but like having players available, fit like Matt Sharp and stuff. So, for them to go out and play as well as they did, and eventually coming away from it 1-0 winners, was some feat from them.
I'm sure.
Was one.
I'm sure Callum Davis.
You're
Callum
sure
Davison
Callum
would have been delighted when he started they started the game and only one team turned up. So
Yep. Hibs were non-existent pretty much
They
from what
Hibsed
I've
it.
watched.
they did Hibs it.
But they're St Johnston's big cup game player, Sean Rooney, he did his bit in just over half
The
an hour.
exact same minute as the League Cup.
Yep. He went towering over, I think it was Josh Doig at the back
Big
post,
mismatch.
and thundered his header home, and that was kind of the story of the day. There was not an awful lot of action after that in the first half.
No,
really,
not too much in the first half. Second half.
Second half, Hibs maybe could have done something. I think they had themselves in the front foot a fair bit in the second half.
I wouldn't say they had themselves in the front foot. They had more of the ball, but St Johnstone were the much more dangerous team by now.
Yeah, but I just mean in general, like there was times in the second half where Hibs had definitely the opportunity to make a better chance, and they just didn't really.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
They played a lot worse than I think anyone expected them to.
Well, I expected them to play that bad, which is why I
Except Craig.
predicted St Johnstone to win.
I didn't expect them to be bad. I just expected St Johnstone to be more affected by their COVID issue.
Well, it was a lot of fringe players mainly. It wasn't really any of their starting 11,
Yeah,
which was good for them. So they were able to.
I think it was just obviously what was his name coming out saying that he was struggling to make a
well, they
bench
managed
up.
to get a bench, a fairly strong bench as well. So.
He did a fairly strong bench, a fairly strong starting 11. So I think he was just mugging folk off, and he certainly mugged Hibs off.
St Johnson had the chance to get the second up from the spot, which would have made my prediction right, but Glenn decided that he was going to take a very terrible penalty.
Yeah, a poor penalty, but I mean, fair play to the goalkeeper. You still have to save it, so he got.
It was a good second save as well for the rebound.
I really thought that at that point, like, he saved it back out into where everyone's running in. In comes Chris Kane, and he cannot. I don't know. I don't know whether he's trying to go far post and it just sclaffs off it. But it looks like he's trying to go near post to me. When the wide open space is the far post from him, which confused me. But these things happen in football, and well, they weren't kicking themselves because Hibs just could not mount any sort of threat on goal. I think they only had one shot on target in the second half.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, they only had 2 in the whole game. But
wasn't the best of games. But St Johnson did.
Nah, I thought it was going to be a good game, but it wasn't fantastic.
Did what they had to do.
But yep, St Johnson lifting the cup double this season.
Well done to them.
Did he say well done or according to them?
No, well done to
according
them.
To them.
I think it's because Matt.
So they say.
It's because Matt spoke at the same time. I thought he said according to them. I was like,
according to everyone else.
According to them, but according to Rangers, they won the treble.
Yeah, I thought Joe was just being better there. Yeah. Fair play to them, Mr. Davidson, robbed of Manager of the Year.
Like I've seen quite a few people saying on Twitter,
really,
it's not robbed because to say it's robbed is to take away from the fact how well Steven Gerrard's done. Obviously, the majority of people think that Callum Davidson did deserve it, but Steven Gerrard did do a very good job as well.
Oh, I mean none of the clubs, obviously. Everyone voted for Gerrard. The writers all voted for Gerrard.
Like if they did it now, though, if they waited till after the season had actually finished and did the manager of the season, I think Davidson would have got it.
Wait until the end of the season.
I mean, you're talking about a guy who's come in his first season of managing St Johnson, who, if they weren't careful, because they got rid of a tenured manager who they knew what they were getting from, finished 5th in the league, won both domestic cups, or Rangers who didn't make a cup final and won the league as favourites.
Well, they weren't favourites going into the league, to be fair. They were not.
They were.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were. They were Skybar.
To be fair, they were.
They might be Brookies' favourite. That's based on who people weren't putting money on.
Well, but that's what we're talking about.
Even if you did look last season, Rangers at points were miles better than Celtic. They just didn't have the consistency.
I'll agree with you on the point that that's Bookie's favourite. Yeah, just because people are bet, but like
predicted favourites, Celtic were 100% the favourites to win the league this season, without a shadow of a doubt.
I think a lot of people would have said that, yeah, but Rangers were favourites in the sense that we're talking about it. That brings us on. It's the end of the season. It's farewell.
I just want to give some context to the predictions quickly. If you were wondering how many points we got, just judging by my very quick counting, I won with 247 out of a possible 1,135 points. So if anyone next season thinks they can beat me, as you can see,
I don't know.
got a lot.
Is that right?
I reckon it very well could be right.
I counted very quickly that there's 227 games predicted in total. I did do that very fast, so maybe I'm a few games off, but I don't think it makes much of a difference to the overall terrible display of our predictions.
Yeah, I know it's difficult to predict things like that. Like
it is,
especially in a season like this season's been. Like it's not been your run of the mill season. I was going to say that brings us on to the departures of managers from all over the league in the Premiership.
Talking about departures of manager, be here all night talking about them. Every club's just
what was it? Yeah, there's like 6 managers have left the positions or something.
Yeah.
in the Premiership or
Well,
whatnot. Nuts. Kind of
since
mental.
since Lennon left Celtic, there's been 18 other managers left, I think it was.
Whoa.
And it doesn't seem like that long ago that Lennon
Ross
left.
County.
No.
Ross County were quick.
Yeah.
They John Hughes announced that he was leaving. They very swiftly went out looking. They found their man. The rumors were going. Everyone was getting really angry at the rumors. They're like, surely this isn't true. Their SLO released a tweet today, basically saying, "I've forwarded on to the club everyone's concerns if the rumors are true." And I don't know. It was very shortly after that, like within an hour or something. The tweet went up. Ross County announced Malky Mackay as their new first team manager.
Dreadful.
Shambolic, I think is the word I said when the rumours were
See, the
going
thing
about.
is, see if he was a good manager as well as a racist, you could maybe see, okay, that's a good appointment. But he's not even a good manager.
For it.
He's just a racist.
Well,
Craig, you ought
I am going to disagree and say that he has made some mistakes in the past, and he has been on various rehabilitation courses, and he has served his tenure with the Scottish FA, UEFA, and FIFA, and he's now ready to come back into management as
And
a
he's
youth
still a
club.
shit
Never
manager.
offered a job in the
Sort of shit
SFA.
manager.
That's the thing.
He should never be back. He should never. He
Like,
should never been back
I
anywhere
do, I
near
do
Scottish
agree. I
football
do.
Because if it was
or
one
I do
football in
agree.
general.
it wasn't even one instance. There's
I do
loads
agree
of them.
people deserve second
Multiple
chances.
incidents. I won't repeat any of his language because
I
it's
agree
not
people deserve
acceptable.
second chances, but the guy's never apologised for anything he's said or anything he's done in the past. And that's the
I
first thing
hope
you have to do is just apologise about it.
I hope they go down, and I hope they suffer, because I
I was
don't
gonna
want
say, Bill,
anyone of that type of nature involved in Scottish football.
I was going to say, Bill, though, surely if he's that much of a
Do you realise that the
champ,
Championship's still Scottish football, Joe?
like a little bit of accountability.
I reckon he'd get fired at that
Liquidated,
point.
Rick. Liquidated.
He literally has a worse win
Liquidate Ross County.
percentage. He wins 36% of games. That is dreadful. Obviously,
Yes.
0% with Scotland. Good
Moving on,
times.
because I don't want to give a lot of time to a racist, homophobic, etc.
Misogynist.
Craig mentioned obviously since Neil Lennon left Celtic, a lot of people keep using this since this is how long Neil Lennon's left Celtic for, and they've still not appointed a new manager. Technically, they did. Technically, they did appoint a new manager. An interim manager to the end of the season is as good as it is as a new manager. Like when Brendan Rodgers left Celtic, Neil Lennon was appointed as interim coach manager for the rest of that season. And then after that, his last game was when they
in the showers.
appointed. After that, they appointed a new manager, which was him, but that was
It was a new contract, yeah.
a new contract. So Neil Lennon left. There was no one in charge, and then they were like, "Hey, John, can you take charge to the end of the season? Be interim manager." He's then the manager. Okay, technically. So now he's just coming up in 2 weeks since he played his last game.
Yeah.
They've not even confirmed that he's gone yet. Like they've not even confirmed whether he's leaving the club.
Well, his contract not up with the club either yet. I don't think.
No. And folk are getting all wound up like, oh, it's been this X many days. I don't know how many days because but folk are getting all worried and all.
92 days.
The season's just finished. Like chill out for like a minute. Take a beat and just like relax. Let the club do the thing. They've come out. They've made multiple statements because people keep getting so wound up, saying, "Don't worry, we're on this. We're getting a manager sorted." Just sort of, I think at this point, from the way I'm reading into it, Celtic are kind of jumping through legal and sort of contractual hoops with their new manager. It seems, or departing coaching staff and whatnot. Maybe that could be the issue as well. You never know. Like, all these things, like they do it their way. They're just taking their time because they don't want to make a mistake. Obviously, they rushed into the last one, and maybe they might have seen that as being a bit
Well,
of a mistake for them.
we're still at a point now where we're gonna Celtic at least are looking at season ticket renewals and everything, and they're asking folk to put their money in there without
Yeah,
any real knowledge of the direction of the club over the next year.
I 100% understand that.
Yeah. So that I mean, I'm not a season ticket holder, but
from the way I've seen it, people are saying that by the end of next week, Celtic will have their manager in place.
mm-hmm.
To be fair, we have been reading articles for the last couple of months to say
Nah,
it's been happening at the end of every
yeah,
week.
but this one's better.
No, from what I've seen is by the end, and I think at this point is it's probably fair to assume the season's done. At that point, like there's nothing else happening in any.
It would be
other football capacity.
unbelievably embarrassing if you don't get Howe after all of this.
Well, what if we get
Unbelievably
someone?
embarrassing.
What if they were never talking to Howe? They, like,
what if we got Antonio Conte?
But what if Celtic were never talking to Howe? Then at that point, is it still embarrassing? Because I wouldn't say so.
Maybe
Who
they're
would you
holding
like
out because
then?
supposedly Zidane's going to get sacked as well. So
The Lille manager just resigned after winning the league. We can have him. Yeah, he's resigned. I don't really know the logic for that. Maybe he's just like, so there's nothing really else I can do
he
here.
was the one that won Monaco as well, so he's actually supposedly quite a good manager.
Yeah, but he only seems to do it in France. So let's see if he can go.
Well, he can come and try and do it in Scotland. They'll probably take the Kelly job or something.
Well, they've still got a manager.
Yeah, that's the same. Yeah.
Anything else happened since the last podcast?
Yogi, obviously.
Yeah, we've already
was that
said that.
Yeah, I know.
To clarify, it was 15 jobs since then. And there's
15 jobs.
Still 8 available.
What do you call him? Big Barry.
What?
Big Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's left Kelly Hearts after getting
supposedly
the league. Yeah.
Going to be announced to Alloa. Yeah.
The Alloa job.
Good chance to try and win something. Hopefully, maybe.
Michael Mellon is supposedly leaving Dundee. Is leaving Dundee.
Yeah, he's already left. Yeah.
He's left Dundee United. Fair play to him. He did well with them this season. I'd say.
Done all right.
After obviously they had to sort of change their manager after last season because he jumped ship.
I wouldn't be surprised if Derek McInnes took that job.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's quite a difficult job, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why Mickey Mellon obviously didn't stay for long. It's not didn't have the visions that he wanted anyway, and it's a tough job. But he did well enough for them this season to keep them up. Kind of in a stable position anyway. They never really looked.
It's a very difficult one to try and keep Dundee United up as well.
It's not for everyone, you know.
Not for everyone, but sometimes you just have to rebuild.
You got to be a very good manager to keep.
But I think
up.
if you look at some of their squad, like some of them are getting a bit older. A few loan players, a couple of players. Their goalkeeper, he's probably looking for a move out of the club.
Shankland as well.
Shankland's likely to be wanting maybe a better club, but I don't know. He's not had the best season, so he might not be able to.
It's going to be a tough one for him
yet.
He only scored like 8-9 league goals or something this season. It might be tough for him to push through a decent move.
Yeah, it's a small scale rebuild.
Yeah, it's not a completely massive rebuild that the likes of Kelly's got, but it's still a tough job that some managers might not want to get their hands dirty like that.
I think Derek McInnes could do a good job with that, though. Well, he's went through some phases in Aberdeen of having to change things up, and he's always done it pretty well.
He's always had players leaving and stuff from Aberdeen, so he's always had to invest.
I think that's the nature of being a sort of top flight Scottish manager. Most of your good players aren't going to stay very long. So,
but
I'm used to
it. Yeah, I think Dundee United, are quite similar to Aberdeen in that way. When they get a decent player, they're likely to lose them to someone, whether it be like Celtic, Rangers, or down like English Championship, lower Premiership. It's always bound to happen. So to them, because they have no real bargaining power to keep players. It'd
been interesting somewhere across the leagues anyway to see the manager movements and also the player movements. See what's happening. I
think in a lot of cases we're unlikely to see much happening until
after
after
the Euros. Yeah,
the Euros.
yeah. There's quite a lot of
Um,
players in
and
the SPL that are going to the Euros. So
it's creeping up on us now. It's next Wednesday. Scotland play their first friendly.
Exciting.
it is quite exciting now.
Exciting
Actually, it
times.
is.
I'm getting excited. Getting the fear.
Obviously, it's not the tournament yet. We'd still be playing friendlies at this time of the year anyway if we
Yeah.
weren't going to the Euros. But it's just one of those things. Like, after the two friendlies that we've got our first group game just over a week after that. So yeah, we're
It was also
getting
confirmed
closer.
today that UEFA will stick with the 10-game ban for Cadella. The obviously it was appealed. But UEFA stuck to their guns and kept the ban.
I don't know if you did see the photo of Cadella with all of the black players who play for Slavia Prague, and Slavia Prague put the photo up, best of friends and
So
stuff like that. And
it can't be racist because you get black friends. Is that the
Yep.
yeah?
The classic.
Does
I
anyone?
think
I was seeing. Does anyone actually know where? Does he have to be named in their squad to put the ban to count, or can Czech Republic still name a 26-man squad?
no, I don't think he does. I don't think he
They
does. I
just
think it's
can't
just
pick
like
him
he's
yet.
banned. He can't. Yeah, I think he can't be picked at all.
It's a shame because I'd like to see
Yeah.
one of the Scotland players go right in hard on him, break his
That's what
legs or
I
something.
was thinking that the other day, and I don't know. I was just thinking the other day, like, just fucking imagine, like,
Well, you need
someone
someone like
two footing him.
you need someone like Ryan Jack in there for something like that. Though. That's the kind of player you'd want.
and unrelated.
Nah, bring someone off the bench.
Yeah, I was about to say,
bring John
that's the only
Fleck off
thing
the
John
bench and
Fleck.
just snap his
John
legs. We
Fleck
don't
was
need
called
John
up for
Fleck.
that.
In unrelated news, Alan McGregor's been called up for the Scotland team.
What
Who would
do you
believe
think that
it?
lineup versus Czech Republic? We're
Um,
playing Alan McGregor as striker.
Might as well.
Stop! You're getting Matt too excited. Anyway,
Imagine how angry he would be as a striker.
I know it's Wednesday, but we're taking a. Oh, this is midweek, but it's our weekly podcast. We're taking probably a small hiatus until the start of next week.
Possibly
say
going
so.
back to a one a week
Before the
podcast after the hectic schedule
just
at the end of
for
the season.
the Euros.
Posting.
Yeah.
For the Euros, I think it makes more sense for us. But I think before the friendlies, we'll do maybe a short half hour.
We can do
Something for another.
Yeah.
something. There's still going to be a lot happening in Scottish football over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so that next week, Monday or Tuesday, whatever suits everyone, we'll do something.
We'll figure it out.
And before the friendlies, do sort of a preview for them. Any news that happens in Scotland, and then take it from there when it comes to the Euros. Until then, would you like to say cheerio, Matt?
Yep. Thank you, everyone. And a special thanks to Nicole at Netflix Support for getting my account unhacked today.
Did you send her the link when she unhacked it? Yeah.
What, to the podcast? Yeah, absolutely.
Craig.
Goodbye. Thanks for joining us, Kelly.
Drew, if you could do me the honours of saying cheerio since Matt didn't.
Cheerio, everyone.
And Billy, a farewell from you.
Goodbye.
What an arse piece! He didn't say fucking farewell.
Billy,
I'll say farewell. From me, it's farewell. From all of us, it's good night, goodbye, and God bless.